Coming at you from the bulletproof bunker just outside Celestia's castle, it's Equestria Redacted, and I am your host, Ephrom Josine. Anyway, within an hour of posting last week's show, which coincidentally was more than a week ago because this episode's a day late, I came across something that was very important, involving a certain Mimkage. Mainly, I've been pronouncing her name wrong the entire time. I've been saying it Mimkage, because that's what I honestly thought it was. But no, names can't be pronounced the way it would make sense to. Yeah. But anyway, this was posted on her Twitter. I'd like to inform everyone that Gabby Mimkage is okay. She is currently being held custody due to charges pressed by her former employer, Oakley. Oakley still exists? Huh. Good to know somebody has good taste in sunglasses. She and others stole items and sold them on eBay. It also turns out that these items' total value ranged to about $25,000. I actually talked to other people about this, and one of my own family members' words were, and I quote, "That's pretty stupid." Her last court date was July 11th, which is when she was taken into custody. Other tweets were later made by Mimkage to confirm, essentially, yeah, that's what happened. Here is what she had to say. "Hello, this is the true Mimkage, also known as Gabby by everyone in real life. In light of recent events, I have decided to come clean about everything, as there is no point in trying to hide it any longer. Back between June 2017 and January 2017, I think she meant 2018, but that's a nitpick, I was caught stealing several eyewear from the store known as Oakley. Oakley still exists?" I didn't expect that, honestly. Oakley, there's one out there. Come find it. For financial gain. The total merchandise stolen was $26,000. For many months, I have tried the utmost to keep this fact hidden completely from everyone. Desperate to find a way to not only this, but also to retain what little I had left of my life. It is true, I did terrible things. My worst crime was the deceit of my former friends. Actually, your worst crime was theft. Not any of this deceit stuff, honestly. Mainly because theft is an actual real-world crime, while, let me see, deceit of your former friends really doesn't mean anything to anybody in the long run. It was never my intention to harm any of you. I simply grew desperate to escape my situation, I know what, and then it cuts off. I'll tell you what. Maybe, to be fair, she was just quoting King of the Hill. Oh, wait, no, there's more. She just cut off. Here's what else she had to say. I lied and lost all empathy for others and was clouded by my own selfishness. You're trying to make this about you being the victim now, Mimkage. That's something I can't stand, by the way. When people commit crimes, I'm the victim. No, you aren't. I can admit I am in need of serious mental help, but that is for me to deal with alone. I feel sorry for you, Mimkage. Don't worry. Everybody, #respect the thief. Perhaps one day Mimkage can return after serving her punishment for the terrible things. By the way, she's just under house arrest, if I'm not mistaken. She had, I think, is on parole for a little bit longer. She's not in jail or anything like that. For the terrible things she has done. Why are you talking in the third person now? Ephrom doesn't like that. Know here and now, my former friends are not to blame for my deceit. I take full responsibility for something I'm responsible for. I am truly rotten. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. if you have any hate or spite aimed towards me and no one else, or aim it towards me and no one else, I will keep this account up for a week to answer any questions, but then we'll be closing it. To everyone, I am truly oh, God. To my former friends, I wish you luck in future endeavors. I know I will miss the times we spent together. Thank you all. You'd think she'd ended there, but no, she didn't. She continued tweeting that day. That was about 4 days now, so there's 3 days left. 3 days to ask her, why are you trying to make yourself look like the victim when you committed theft? Actually, that's not true. You can ask her for a little while, because she tweeted the very next day, upon further encouragement from someone who wants to help. I have no clue who that is, by the way. Is it Peter? It's probably Peter. I have decided to keep my social media handles active. I will post progress and proof of improvement as time goes on. I'll believe it when I see it. And if I do see it, I will actually come on the show and say so. I will not run away from the crimes I've committed. Wrong. She doesn't uppercase the I, by the way. Make this right. And if you want any more proof, she's essentially throwing a pity party for herself. Here's what she had to say a little bit later. I don't know who still follows me, and I know that it's too soon for me to ask this, but if I do show proof and signs that I have changed and improved, will you guys forgive me for my horrible, horrible mistakes? Why do you need to ask that in the first place, is what I want. Like, if you do improve, then I'm sure people will tell you such. But, okay, I know. I'm just sick of people doing this. I really am. Where it's like, yeah, everything. Even if I caused it, I'm still the victim. And she doesn't directly say it to you. She more heavily implies it, and that kind of makes it worse, in my opinion. But don't worry, Mimkage. Killer Barbie 1 says, I have already forgiven you. You were in a bad spot and made a terrible decision that was wrong. What counts is you opening up to it and trying to make recompensations for it. That is admirable. Use this as a lesson to never do anything like this again. She has bad grammar. Midnight Chime said we should just have the conversation in a year or two, and I do actually kind of agree with that. However, I'd like to again point out that what's sad is this isn't even the worst crime a Brony community member has committed. When we have active pedophile apologists going around, someone who did a little worse than petty theft isn't even the worst thing I've seen so far. Speaking of pedophiles, did you guys know that Ephrom and A&Y post I showed last week, they deleted it. Now, Leo has a screenshot of, or Leo Convoy has a screenshot of the keyframe portion, and if you want to see the full thing, a very good friend of the show, Oriental Brony, that's Oriental, found it via the cache feature on Google, so you can just go ask him. But yeah. Well, we're actually on the topic of that post. Let's finish off the little trilogy I've been giving over the past couple of weeks, involving Coward and his friend, or man who gave him it, Vampire, who gave me that post. You see, it turns out that Coward and his friend, who we will nickname, we'll just say Elwood. If you know who he is, you'll know why, and if not, stop asking so many questions. God. And if you're wondering why I'm getting so angry at this, my response is you're actually starting to get on my nerves, you know that? And if you're wondering why I'm taking it so seriously when I could just be telling you who these people are, my response is shut up, okay? Just shut up. I'm very angry today. But they were actually very annoyed that I covered it, mainly because that could lead to the information that one of their friends, oh yeah, did I not mention that Coward and Elwood are friends with Ephrom and A&Y, still after all of this. public, which would be bad because then we would know that their friends are pedophile supporters, especially after they were just friends with someone who was revealed to be a pedophile. I guess not all heroes wear capes. But okay, again, I'm maybe unfair. Maybe there's a reason these people want to conceal that fact. I'm not going to say what that reason is, but it should be noted that Coward has some pedophilic tendencies himself. Again, I can't tell you who Coward is, but you may be able to just guess at this point, honestly. Maybe I'll make a DA journal where I reveal all of the symbolism. How do other columnists find time to play video games? I barely find the time to do this. Anyway, yeah, that's the epic trilogy. It's done now. Okay. I don't know really what else to talk about. What if Ebra lives in Australia? Oh. Recently, the E4B made a post that had all 5 mods in it. That may be a little interesting. I wasn't going to cover that. However, then one of them, I'm not going to say which one, although I will say which one as soon as I find it. Death Pony actually mentioned that post I just told you about. Here's what he had to say. That's as grasping straws as a certain twat, by that they mean me, accusing 2 Bronalysis members of supporting pedophilia via out of context. That's how they end the sentence, by the way, out of context. And in case you're wondering, I did read the post in every video I mentioned that post in. So, I gave all the context, and you just don't like it because it made your people look bad. But okay. Let's see what was actually said. Somebody said, an anonymous person, which clearly means it was Lily Pete, who is also Ebra, who is also Tara, and as we all know, all 3 of these people live in Australia, which clearly means that none of them are real. What? You don't believe it? Oh, and the Federal Reserve was caused by the sinking of Titanic or something. Or no, it was the sinking of Titanic was a plot to create the Federal Reserve. It's a real conspiracy out there. Look it up. Lily, still breathing. E4B, immediately stop! I actually wish I used that instead of Dear the Meanies, please stop. And then Ebra responded by simply telling you who the E4B are, which all 5 of them felt the need to respond to this post, by the way, and then pointing out that they are, quote, 5 people who are so devoted to anything in their lives that they're stalking one woman, and that they are also suspiciously angry that Lily speaks out against pedophilia in the fandom. And then later directly implies they are pedophiles. Of course, it started with Space Mare, who was too good to type her full name, so she just went by her initials. In which she asked the simple question, you really think that a blog who has condemned any pedophile that has come out of the fandom as of now are pedophiles? That's not what happened, but okay. And, you know, I'll be fair. I won't mention the tons of hypocrisies that they've already spawned, as well as the fact that I don't believe they mentioned Aguilar was a pedophile, or at least, if they did, it was also in the context of, well, you know, Lily Pete is bad. So instead, I would like to read a post from E4B, which I almost never do, I know. It is simply called Downplaying Be Like. Pedo fan and friends, you all just don't see that insert random pedo name cares about the community. Or cares for... Or maybe they're not pedophiles. They made videos denouncing it. Us, as an E4B. While this may be true, it doesn't hide the fact that these people are using it as a shield to cover their own pedo urges. So basically, when someone you don't like is speaking out against pedophilia, that's because they're actually pedophiles. But you're just that little snowflake who's so perfect and literally milk pouring down a white tube of greatness that you wouldn't even dare do that. I recommend Googling the phrase Freudian slip. I think you'd find it very interesting. You know, there are several studies that determine that people who think being gay is a choice are much more likely to be homosexuals. I wonder what people like this who say if you denounce pedophilia, it must be because you're a pedophile. What the exact rate is for their version. Mind you, Space Mayor's point was still better than Death, who just sort of, well, take a guess. Mainly point out that Lily Orchard may not be perfect. In fact, here is my favorite part, though. In fact, Orchard had known about Zach's actions and said nothing. This is a downright lie, and it's one they absolutely love saying. And I'm going to remind you why it's a lie. She did post about it, and I know because if you look up my name and Toon Critic, you can find I covered it and used it as a source. And then you people called me crazy. And which one of us was right again? That's what I thought. The other three's posts are boring and I don't want to talk about them, mainly because they didn't actually give any points worthwhile. We just sort of repeated what each other said about Ebra not being real, probably because she lives in Australia, which as we also know is not real. But I'd like to actually end with something else that does involve Saturn Star, or Space Mare, who I keep accidentally typing as Saturn Star when I want to find her Twitter, because she tagged me on this. You know, none of this would have happened if you had just remained Saturn Star. Wait, Spoken Minds, is that it? I still can't. Now I have to go into my notifications. After Secular Hawk, by the way, spammed them with a bunch of memes about, you know, centrists and boomers and all that. Oh, God. Yeah, there's Matt Me. This was posted about a day after last week's episode. And for the record, by the way, Twitter didn't actually notify me about this. It just notified me about replies to this. So I didn't see this until later. But here's what Spoken had to say. Hey, and then my Twitter handle, how about you grow a pair and call me out properly, instead of hiding in a video which no one watches? Well, apparently you must watch, considering how you know I mentioned you last week. It would have actually been kind of funny if she just had this tweet pre-prepared and waited for me to mention her. Or, for that matter, what if she tweeted it just after an episode I didn't mention her? That would have actually been kind of amusing. You have my Tumblr and my Twitter. Two things that are free to talk with me. Yeah, I have done that for the record before, and typically when I do that, I get blocked by people. And when you're doing a weekly series about these people, you kind of don't want to be blocked by them. It's a phenomenon that I like to call the coward effect. Seriously, I'm still finding people I'm blocked by that I have never even heard of. Just today, I'm going to look up his name right now. Admiral Sparkle. That was his, or Sparker. ADMSPRAKLE. I forget his name already. You are worse than the people you despise for no apparent reason. I've given you reasons as to why I don't like these people. Saturn, or Spoken, or Space, or it always starts with an S for some reason. You just choose to ignore them. Migrant Potato says, is that how it's pronounced? I don't know. Gotta love how some people go the coward way, hit in the back and then run away because even they know who is the one that is fucking up or are scared of confronting since they know how. Okay, wait. Spoken, I know you have a YouTube account. I know that because you flagged one of my videos due to it using your art in the thumbnail, which you were in your right to do, for the record. And then berated me when I didn't like the fact my video was being flagged and called me a coward. Because my goofy video where I read off a tweet where you called yourself the biggest fan was apparently worthy of flagging. I know you have the ability to create a YouTube account at least, and I know you more than likely do have one. Why don't you be a bigger person and just come on here and talk? I haven't blocked you. Why would I? I mean, you've never really commented on my videos. Here's another thing. He only really says that, but if you watch his videos, he never provides anything other than screeching how he's right and everyone's wrong. Well, that's just called accurate reporting, boy. But seriously, I like this logic that because I think I'm right, as if I'd say something if I thought it was wrong. Everything I've said in this video is right, by the way, especially that Ephrom in Australia thing. You know, is really... Why would I say something I don't think is right? It doesn't make any sense to me. And that was Death Pony who said it. He also said this. That'd be if he actually put the effort, which he doesn't because he wants to be like Senpai Orcher. Fun fact, Death Pony actually used to complain before he had a Twitter that, well, I talked about him on Twitter when he was on Tumblr, and I should just talk to him on a platform he's on. Then he got a Twitter, and he replies to my tweets all the time, by the way. But let's see what I can reply to on his Twitter. I'm blocked. That is it, everyone. I'm Ephrom, and good night.